everyone, it's the interview queen, Alicia Atout here, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to interview round 3 with Isaiah Swerve Scott. Welcome.
Yeah, what's going on? This is round 3 with a different name
Different
this
name.
time around.
I'm super excited to have you back on. We're going to get into how much has changed and all the craziness that's gone on within the last year. But, first things first, how are you doing and how are you kind of holding up and coping with everything going on right now?
I'm doing very well. Staying home, but at the same time, I'm staying busy while staying home in quarantine and stuff. I get out a little bit here and there, but not as much as I'd like to or used to. But I have a lot of things I'm working on, so it keeps me busy while I'm contained.
Yeah, and just speaking to being busy, obviously Swerve City is going and growing super strong as you have the Swerve City podcast along with Swerve City. So how nice has it been kind of having these projects during the pandemic? Because a lot of people have had to find things to either keep them busy, but you've kind of already got that and already had your hands full.
I'm very fortunate. Me and my partner Montezi, actually, we have these car rides and we discussions all the time. I was like, crazy man, we were like a step ahead of this like 2 years now. And it's funny how like when everything shut down, and a lot of people equipment to start up their stream services and their podcasts and everything like that. We were already interviews with Rhea Ripley. We were already having like the Street Profits on and like talking with Cesaro and Adam Cole and guys like that. So we've already had like a good foundation and a great library already stocked on YouTube and stuff. And not to mention like our sponsor around Seattle, he sent us all this great equipment and stuff. So like with the microphone covers and the blankets, the curtain lights and all that. So we set everything up pretty much like over a year and a half ahead of all this. So it was just like, all right, now we really get a lot of more time to invest in this and to keep pushing forward and get cool guests and like different things with our Patreons and our YouTubes and more content. So adapted very well to this whole situation.
I feel like it's been the same scenario for me because I've been doing this for so many years now, like as you know.
Right.
And so as soon as this whole thing hit, it was just adapting to doing more from home rather than on the road. But it was the exact same thing. Like you already have this library. So now for me, the benefit I found anyways, or the silver lining, is that people are now home. They actually have more time on their hands to be a guest on your show. So have you found that's kind of the same thing, the same scenario?
Yeah. It's also like the people that fly in to do Smack Raw. They have like a day before and a day, and it's like, okay, find this window and all that stuff. Cause like, it would be a very difficult time to get like a Kofi Kingston to come in and, do this interview while we're on the road or why, like it's very rare he's ever going to be in Orlando, Florida, this close to our studio. So it's like, oh man, we have this opportunity to get some like guests that we really like hire. So now it's like just taking advantage of these opportunities in the time period while we have them.
Absolutely. And it's fun for me to see because one of the other things we've been able to tap into is, of course, Swerve City, the music project that you have alongside Montezi. So how long have you actually been rapping for? Not actually like releasing music, but how long has that been a passion of yours? I'm assuming since you were really, really young.
It was something I always wanted to do. It was something I would do in my head all the time, but I didn't know what I was actually doing. Teasy was the one that really pulled it out of me. It was like, yo, man, like you actually kind of know what you're talking about because we wrote Swerve City before the first song we kind of put together was Swerve City, and I didn't feature or have a verse on it at all. He got like Mega Ran and Mickey Fax to hop on the track, but I kind of like A&R'd and executive produced it from afar. And then we wrote Broke Boys together, and that's where I first actually ever wrote a song and like featured on it. And with Big Swole adding vocals to it, that was the first time I ever did it. And I was like, oh man, is it like this? Can I? And then like after a while, going, yeah, I'm always inspired not only just by other musicians and songs, but like life and other art pieces. Movies, Broadway plays inspire me sometimes with songs, comedy, stand-up specials. Like a lot
Everything.
of them like inspire me to do everything. Yeah, but me in wrestling too, with my look and all the media and all everything that I can do with that.
No, I know that's definitely something you've mentioned before, goes hand in hand. And of course, when it comes to Swerve City, there's From Humble Beginnings, the full-length album you put out, and that features so many cool guests. 'Cause you were mentioning some collaborations, and I know you're usually kind of asked who you'd like to face in the ring. But tonight, I'd like to know who are some people you'd really love to collab with and have on a Swerve City track.
We had Juice from Flatbush Zombies on the last album. He did body art with us, and that had like a lot of featured, a lot. We had NXT. We had Big Swole on there. We had the body features of Zelina Vega and Aleister Black. Them in there, but as far as like, I would like to get Michi Darko from Flatbush Zombies to feature on a song in the future. So like those are like brothers to me. They'll look over and listen to our songs before we release them and give us advice, almost like A&Ring for us. And so their mentorship means a lot.
Well, my fingers are crossed for you. It's one of those things where you never ever know what's going to come your way. And just speaking to that, obviously a lot has changed since I had you on the show last spring. So
Yeah.
that biggest thing being that you officially signed with WWE. And I know it's been a minute, but again, congratulations, because you're seriously one of the hardest working people I've met through hosting these interviews. So I was so
Oh,
psyched when I saw
thank
that.
you.
Of course.
I see the people you interview, and that's like that. There's a lot of that grind people and talented individuals. That's so that means a lot to me.
Of
I've always
course.
had I've always had the philosophy of just like shooting for the stars, and maybe I'll hit the moon on the way out. Still pretty awesome feat.
No, I was so excited when I saw it, and you've been absolutely killing it there. So I was curious, I mean, what was that moment for you like when you were actually inking pen to paper? Because I know all the stuff you've, well, not all, of course, but I've known a ton of the stuff that you have gone through over the last little while.
Yeah,
And I just can only imagine like how much of a breather you took when that came through for you.
it was weight off my shoulders for sure. I was doing vacation with family when I got the email saying like we're officially doing it, no tryout or anything. We want to sign you right away, and it was just like I couldn't even enjoy the rest of the vacation. I had like 3 or 4 more days there left, and it was just like no, I'm gonna get back, go home and work. That's what and it never feels like work because like I'm always like the beauty of it is just like wondering what can happen next. And one of my trainers here, Terry Taylor, he always mentioned, he's like, if you quit, you know what's going to happen. But if you keep going and pushing, endless things can happen. You don't know what can happen. You still might fail, but there's a high possibility you won't fail. But if you quit, you know you're going to fail. So I'm always just like looking to try to push forward, see what happens. What's behind this door? What's behind this door? Open every cabinet, nick and cranny, window, door to figure out what is more to explore. And so when I'm sitting and relaxing and vacationing, I can't do that. I can't do that from there. I want to get back in the field and grind and open these doors now.
Well, clearly opening every door and window and crevice has worked for you. So it's definitely a good mentality.
Yeah.
Well, your intro.
And trespass and anger anybody.
Right. And I have to mention that your intro, anytime that you're on NXT, is super badass. But I do have to ask you, do you kind of miss Shaka Khan a little bit?
Every day.
Aw.
But it's cool because like there's still evolution to me. Like who knows, that could come back, or who knows, maybe I've outgrown that. I outgrown Jackson 5 when I was like in CZW in like 2011. So maybe that's something I just outgrown and I'm maturing and still evolving. There's benefits and negativities to everything, but I always try to look at the benefits to these things that I don't have anymore, like a name. I don't have that name anymore, but what can I do with this name? There's something I can evolve and play with this. I don't have that song anymore, but what can I do with this video screen and this song and this new look and this new hair, these new tattoos? What can I do with this stuff? Maybe make it better and evolve it moving forward.
No, absolutely. And it's one of those things where I feel like so many people associate that track with you. So I can imagine when you're like driving around or if you hear it randomly in a store, just it must make you feel good instantly.
It does. It does. It's like I'm synonymous with something, and that's really cool to me. You know.
Well, you had mentioned the different names there, and of course, you have had multiple ones over the last couple of years. So, to you, do you kind of find it funny how whether you are at a show signing or you happen to just be out and a fan sees you, they can literally call you by any of your monikers, your gimmick names, but literally you'll still turn around and be like, "Hey," or reply to it. Do you kind of find
Yeah.
that bizarre?
That that's to me that's an indicator of how much they've been following me for the years. So like,
True.
but as long as I just keep Swerve, which that's like something they can't take away from me. That's like you can change my name all you want to, but I'm still Swerve. It's still Swerve City Podcast. It's still Swerve City the album. That's just all across the board. And I think that was the victory in all this because that is where I'm going to be synonymous with no matter where I go.
Well, I know that before wrestling, you had jobs like working at a cable company to doing some work at UPS. So, what was actually the worst or most annoying job you had before really taking on wrestling and getting into this business?
I wasn't necessarily a job. It was more like, and I was in the back, and I had to excuse me for this, everybody, but I had to illegally copy um, movies and music and stuff over and over again in the back of a store, and we were also like in the back of the merchandise store and stuff, and we were selling sneakers and clothes and that stuff like that. And would have to drive up to Philly and stay at this like really really rank house. It was just to do like bootlegging activities,
Right?
and I had hours throughout the night and stuff, and I stayed there, and I had to share this room, this living room slash kitchen slash dining area. It was just a TV, a couch, and some appliances. That's all it was. And there was a gentleman who was going out selling the things, the movies and DVDs and stuff like that. But he would always super like urinate on it like in on while he was sleeping.
Oh,
So the whole room would also smell like that too. It was a really bad experience, and that was like a low of lows because I still wasn't really getting paid that much. It was just like cash and from, but it was what I had to do because I had two little girls and I had to find a way to eat and find a way to make sure they could eat and have what they needed and also live this dream of pro wrestling and stuff. So that was like the worst of it.
that's a crazy story. I came across the other
Yeah.
jobs after some digging, but I did not hear about that one. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's not really spoken too much on those interviews.
Right. Well, that's why I
Right.
hopefully, dig these ones for things like that. But I really do want to
Yeah, exactly.
thank you so much for taking the time and coming on here. I'm so glad that things like that are just a part of the past and so much has changed for you. And you just seem like
Yeah.
you're happy. So I'm stoked for you. Thank you for coming back on.
I, Thank you. Yes, I'm really happy right now, and what I'm really happy about is just what's going on, what's the future holds.
Definitely be sure to check out Swerve's very own Swerve City podcast and Swerve City. And just thank you so much to Isaiah for coming on here, taking the time. Once again, I am the interview queen, Alicia Atout. Be sure to check out aliciaatout.com for all exclusive interviews and features. And to everyone watching, we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.